Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Today on CityCast Houston, state authorities just listened to hours of testimony on how CenterPoint dropped the ball after Hurricane Beryl. But when will Houstonians finally see some accountability? Plus, the latest on the Fort Bend County judge who's been indicted for creating fake Facebook accounts to influence an election. And the wild story of how thieves stole 18 truckloads of olive oil. Yes, you heard me right. Houston Press reporter Faith Bugenhagen joins me to talk about the stories to know to start the week. And before we dive in, I want to welcome all of our new listeners to CityCast Houston, where you can get a daily dose of news and joy about H-Town. It's Tuesday, October 8th. I'm Rahil Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, Faith, what's up? How are you?
Everything's good. I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you so much for having me back.
I'm doing all right. The city is really getting into the fall/Halloween vibes because over the weekend, I was at an event and somebody pulled up in a costume. So I want to start with this. When is it too early to get into that spooky vibe? Because the first weekend in October, I feel like costumes should not be allowed. Like, that is way too early.
Yeah, so I would have to disagree with you there. I am a big believer in the entire month of October is absolutely Halloween. I feel like that may not be an unpopular opinion, but we'll have to see. I just absolutely love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. So for me, October the 1st, it's costume season until October the 31st.
Okay, and that is totally fine because I wasn't at a fall festival, by the way. This was just a normal event and an adult pulled up in a cow costume. So I was like, hey, hold on, wait, maybe the third weekend. I don't know. But hey, I might be in the minority here, so that's totally fine.
An adult in a cow costume is genuinely hilarious. I hope you took photos. I would have loved to be there and see that.
Unfortunately, I didn't get pictures, but yeah, I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I was busy during the event, so that's on me. That is on me. Hey, Faith, let's get to our biggest stories, and I want to kick things off because my big story is really a question, and that is, when are we going to get some accountability for CenterPoint and how it handled Hurricane Beryl? It's been 3 months, right, since the storm blew through Houston. And this weekend, there was a long hearing that lasted hours where customers complained to the Public Utility Commission of Texas. And that commission is supposed to be investigating the energy provider, but we don't know how long it's supposed to take or what kind of consequences they could give. And my heart goes out to all the customers who recounted again how they spent up to 12 days with no power at these meetings and how they tried to call CenterPoint for 3 days straight with no answer. And Houston needs some answers, Faith. What do you want to see come out of this?
Yeah, I think to your point, you touched on it, just the accountability for CenterPoint customers and residents of the Houston area, because when you're dealing with recovery from a natural disaster, which we're so familiar with, no matter really how long you've lived in Houston, because Hurricane Beryl was so recent, you're dealing with so much. And then to have to confront the idea of a utility provider taking almost advantage of their customers, especially with CenterPoint asking for a rate hike, and also taxpayers to take responsibility for a lot of their operational costs. That's just a lot to have to confront on top of everything else you're dealing with. And I think at this point, we've seen CenterPoint, for lack of a better term, fail in so many instances. It's like, what is going to stop the train on its tracks, I think is key to the discussion around CenterPoint's operations.
Now, I know they said that they are spending up to $5 billion on infrastructure, including putting some power lines underground and building some concrete poles, but the commissioners still had questions about that. And I also didn't get any answers regarding the $800 million that they spent on generators that barely were used during the outage while all of us were sweating things out, right? And there's also a recent investigation by the Houston Chronicle, which raises some really important questions if CenterPoint really got the best deal for consumers. And you can check out that entire investigation in our show notes. So there's just so many questions about how money is being used. Will that cost come to us, the customers? Because that CenterPoint pass-through fee that we already get is such a big part of our electric bill. So, it's just so frustrating. And I hope there is some accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's interesting with these hearings and these meetings is a lot is said, but not a lot is given in terms of information. There's a lot of talk, there's a lot of testifying, and it's kind of similar to kicking the can down the road. And it's just like, when is that can going to stop? And what are the answers to the questions that you're asking? And a lot of residents and a lot of customers, as well as lawmakers, are going to get answered. And it's frustrating for everybody involved.
Faith, what's your biggest story?
So Fort Bend County Judge KP George, who has been in the news recently, unfortunately, not good news, is challenging legal challenges that he is facing currently. So if you remember, he was indicted a little over a week ago regarding some of his alleged involvement in creating fake Facebook accounts to spread racist messages. And according to his legal representation, Chad Dick, he has filed a motion to quash and dismiss the indictment in the case. So we are seeing him kind of fight back this misdemeanor charge that he is currently faced with.
So the racist comments, the allegations are that he created fake accounts and spread these messages of hate basically on his Facebook profile to garner some sympathy before the election when he was facing Trevor Nels for county judge, right? And by the way, Terrell Patel also, we'll talk about him in a second, but that's what happened with KP George, right?
Yes, that is what happened with KP George. And then you mentioned Terrell Patel, who is the Democratic nominee for Precinct 3 County Commissioner. And KP George was also allegedly involved with assisting Patel in this similar activity in which Patel has actually already been charged with 4 felony counts of misimpersonation.
And Patel is still on the ballot for November, right? As Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Commissioner, as the Democratic nominee. This is so wild because some party members here in Fort Bend for the Democratic Party were calling for him to be removed, but I guess that deadline passed and he is on it. And I wonder, Faith, we always hear there's no bad press, right? Like your name is in the news. Could he win this election?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I've seen a couple reports out there from local political experts saying scandals don't matter, even on the local level. However, I will note that there are a lot of local politicians in the Fort Bend area that are calling for not only KP George to step down, but also for Patel, as you mentioned, to get out of the race. He's still on the ballot. So I think we'll just have to see. But there is community outcry against what these politicians are alleged in doing. So I think we'll just have to see when the voters turn out in November. But it will be interesting, especially if he is elected into that position. I would be interested to see how that all plays out.
Researching schools for my kids was important to me and my wife. And if you're currently doing that, then I have another option in education beyond the traditional offerings for your family. Check out The Village School. It was named a top 20 best private school in America by niche.com and offers pre-K through 12th grade. The Village School curriculum is rigorous and focuses on STEAM. That's a combination of science, technology, math, and the arts, so students are prepared to accomplish great things in their personal journeys. Want to see if the Village School is right for you and your student? Join them on November 8th at 9 a.m. for their open house, where you can tour the campus, meet with faculty, and see how you fit into their incredibly diverse community that has more than 90 countries represented. Register for the open house at thevillageschool.com. Again, their open house is on November 8th, and you can register at thevillageschool.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let's talk about your mental health. October is a season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to, whether it's at work, with friends, or around our family. But therapy can help you learn to accept all parts of yourself, so you can take off that emotional mask. I tried therapy earlier this year to help learn positive coping skills and to prepare myself emotionally for anything life throws at me. Remember, therapy isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's meant to be convenient and flexible. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com /citycast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com /citycast. Faith, are you ready for some lightning round?
Yes, I absolutely am.
All right, let's do it. Do you have a greater appreciation on just how important the Port of Houston and the dock workers are to our city? Because we saw the dock workers strike and stop work late last week, and the strike affects dozens of ports across the country, by the way, including Houston, and it's not completely resolved yet, but the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance that represents the ports have agreed to try and work things out and get a new deal done by January 15th. Faith, did you go panic buy toilet paper and bananas last week as well?
So I actually did not, mainly because a lot of like my parents and people around me, they sent me a bunch of articles and they were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I was able to read up on what was going on. And I know a lot of local politicians came out and said, stop bulk buying because that's when we're going to run into issues. So luckily I was informed and I did not do that, but I totally understand how people would have gotten a little bit panicked and been like, let's stock up, as you mentioned. And I think it's almost a good thing that this is occurring because it really puts it into perspective that so many people are involved with getting food products on the table. And sometimes when we don't personally have those jobs, we don't think about those things. So when events like this occur, it's nice to kind of see the chain reaction and remember that this is a lot of people's labor and a lot of people's hard work and effort. And I think that is always a good reminder. And I hope that it does come to an agreement January the 15th, because as you noted, this is a temporary end to the strike for now.
Yeah, and I think most of our listeners don't see the dock workers every day, so we don't appreciate them, right? Like we see our delivery drivers and we see others in really important jobs every day just impacting our lives, so we have a greater appreciation. But yeah, this was a really important reminder about how important that port is and how important those dock workers are, not only to our city, but regionally. Right? Like it's so many goods, and the economic impact of that one port is so big to so many of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, if you did bulk buy stuff, you better not return it. You're stuck with it, okay? Hey, it's not fair. It's not fair to the rest of us. I actually saw Costco said they are not taking back toilet paper. So, hey, you're going to be stuck with toilet paper for years to come now. And look, you're going to need it at some point, so it's all good. Okay, here's some good news. The data firm Atom just released a new report that Houston is just one of 5 major cities in the country that's still considered affordable. And just a quick breakdown of the numbers. Here's what what the report found, okay? The cost of owning a home takes up about 25% of your income before taxes in Harris County. Now, that is lower than the national average, which is at about 33%. Faith, does it feel like Harris County is still affordable?
I would say it does. And that definitely depends on, your income and the money that you're generating through work or other facets. But I think that it does, especially compared to other cities and counties. I mean, I know we're talking about Harris County, but thinking about Houston, I have friends all across the country, and I hear from those who are in New York and Philadelphia and California, especially cities in California, where they come and visit me in Harris County and Houston, and they're so shocked by some of the prices. I think particularly of food, interestingly enough, and I know this story deals with property, but I think also when it comes to rent and home owning, it's definitely more accessible here. And we have to note that we're in Harris County, one of the largest counties in the country. It's a very attractive place to live. So it's nice to know that even though we are so large scale and we do attract a lot of people coming in and wanting to be new time residents, it is still affordable for us who've always been here.
I believe these numbers were pulled for the last year's data, right? I wonder what it's going to look like next year, right? And again, yes, like if you have a bingo card of things Raheel is going to bring up on a CityCast Houston episode, I wonder what it's going to look like next year when we look at how expensive homeowners insurance is going to be. I know I bring this up almost every episode, but I believe this is going to be different looking at next year's numbers because of the companies that are pulling out and just how expensive that is going to be for homeowners and potential homeowners as well.
Yeah, I think that is such a strong point to bring up in this conversation, and we will have to see because I know you have been mentioning it on multiple
Yeah.
episodes, but it is something that is so important for homeowners, and particularly with how many natural disasters are occurring, like that's just gonna go up in cost.
And also, Harris County has approved a tax hike for property owners. The city of Houston might also do the same, right? That is still up for debate right now. So just more costs coming, and maybe it will become a little bit less affordable for homeowners here.
Yeah.
Okay, final story for Lightning Round. The Latino Museum of Culture and Visual Arts and Archive Complex got a huge boost to build out their projected $155 million campus, with Harris County committing $800,000 to find land for the new campus and to do a financial feasibility study in 2025. And with more than 45% of the city's population identifying as Hispanic or Latino, it's kind of crazy we don't have something like this already, Faith.
I totally agree. I also love this. I'm a Latina reporter, so this is very important to me. It's very important to see my people reflected in this museum. And I think what's also super interesting about this in the story is that the content in the museum is focused on US Latin artists and not just artists directly from Latin America producing work in Latin America. And that is even cooler because I think the intersection between being Latino, Latina, and Hispanic born in the United States or living in the United States has such a cool intersection with culture and art. And I may be a little biased, but I think this art is so beautiful. I mean, if you've spent time looking through these artists' work, it's gorgeous. And I'm just so excited to see what this looks like. I'm super excited that this is the first such museum. And I think it is going to generate a lot of interest in the community because of how many of us are Latino and Hispanic.
And also, it's going to serve as a place for the community to gather and share ideas and also look at the arts, right? And find influences. There is no such place right now. And that is going to be such a boost, not only for the Hispanic and Latino community, but I think the city in general. Like, we need a space like this.
Absolutely. Art is so influential. It's one of my second loves, and I am so excited to see, as you're mentioning, the impact overall of the community, and it's going to be such a unique gathering space.
And hopefully we'll see a panel discussion with you there, right? Like you got to be doing something too. Come on.
Yes, literally open invite. If anybody's interested, contact me, please.
Hi, this is David Plotz of CityCast. Have you thought about a gift for yourself this year? One that has the power to help you grow and learn and become a better version of yourself? Give yourself the gift of language by getting Babbel. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by language experts, Babbel gets you talking a new language in 3 weeks. Because talking is the key to really knowing a language. And that's how Babbel approaches it. It's designed for real conversation. So I have a trip to France planned with my girlfriend. Was it inspired by the Olympics? Yes, it was. And it's given me the chance to revive my old high school French. And it's so fun to catch back up with the vocabulary I'd forgotten. To remember all the food, for example. I'm in a lesson on ingredients, so I'm going to make crepes with butter and sugar. Avec sucre et de beurre salé, on va se régaler. We're going to have a feast. They learned this great new French expression too. J'en ai l'eau à la bouche. That means I have water in the mouth. It means it's mouth-watering. Love it. Love French. Anyway, Babbel gets you talking, and studies from Yale and Michigan State University and other leading universities prove that it works. So here is a special holiday deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/CityCast, spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Faith, it's time for some Only in H-Town stories that are so unique to us, whether it be great stories, wacky, I don't know, whatever you want, but a story that can only happen in H-Town. You know the drill. What do you got for me?
So Ted Cruz is coming back. He's coming back to this episode. I feel like he could also be on that bingo card that you mentioned earlier, because he is just reappearing all the time. And unfortunately, it does have to do with the Astros again. As we all know, the Astros season is over, which was an upset to many Houstonians. Totally makes sense. I'm right there with them. Very upset about this. But the Houston Chronicle's editorial board threw shade at Senator Ted Cruz in the funniest way possible. They mentioned that they were having screenings for the endorsements that they do of candidates. And they mentioned that the same day of the game, they had invited Senator Cruz to sit down with them for the screening. And he did not attend because he was at the game. And his challenger, Representative Colin Allred, did attend. And so they kind of mentioned, if you were sitting down with us, maybe the Astros would still be in the postseason and moving on in the playoffs. And I think that is so amazing, so phenomenal of them, and nice, playful, fun shade.
Faith, I'm so glad you brought this up because I actually saw a number about the Ted Cruz sports curse, right? That's what it is. We've talked about it on the show before. Zach Emmons, who joined us previously on an episode, was mentioning this like, okay, we got to talk about this Ted Cruz sports curse. Well, here is a number from an X account, Reddit CFB, which is talking about college football on Reddit. It says sports bettors are now 16-2 since 2017 when betting the money line against teams Ted Cruz shows up to support in person. And what that basically means is if he was there rooting on the Dallas Cowboys and you bet against the Dallas Cowboys, you would have won 16 times of the 18 appearances he made. Think about that. The curse is real.
No, absolutely. As a journalist who focuses on facts, numbers don't lie. And those numbers are not lying.
Facts
so
are
funny.
real.
So funny to me. So sorry, Senator Cruz, but you can't help it.
Yeah, immediately, the first thing on X that started trending during the Astros playoff games, the two of them, were people asking, is Ted Cruz there? Is Ted Cruz there? And sure enough, he was, as you mentioned. So yeah, sorry. It's just real. Okay, my only in H-Town is a wild one. And only in H-Town can 18 truckloads with over 194,000 bottles of premium olive oil in them can be stolen from a warehouse, Faith. This is real. Thieves literally stole that many bottles. And I have so many questions, right? Like, where exactly are the thieves going to unload the product and sell it? CHO America, the company who produces this olive oil, said it was about $2.5 million worth of olive oil. And it has been done before. So I'm going to give Houston a break here because a similar theft occurred in Montreal as well. But yeah, that is wild. 194,000 bottles of premium olive oil stolen from a warehouse in Houston.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. My mind goes to the execution of this all. How was this pulled off? How did they get away with it? In what way were these containers stolen? And also, it reminds me of something similar to like a bad joke. Like, how many people does it take to steal all
Yeah.
these tons of or olive oil? So yeah, my mind just goes to the execution. Like, these had to be pretty masterful thieves to be able to pull this all off. And like you're saying, where is it going to end up? Because I feel like with thefts like these, the large amounts and the product, they have all that information. So they better watch out because I feel like this could be easily traced given the information we know.
I would watch a documentary about this because of all these questions, right? Like if it was 500 bottles of olive oil, okay, it's not that interesting, but over 194,000 bottles, 18 truckloads. Okay, even if it was one truckload, Faith, it's not that interesting, but 18 truckloads worth of olive oil just gone? Whoa. I mean, this is unbelievable. I hope there's a documentary made on this.
Yeah, I think given all the recent docuseries, we could pitch something. Let's collab, pitch something, make
Yes.
our money, and go from there.
Faith, this was a lot of fun, a lot of information shared today. Thank you so much for joining us, and can't wait to have you back on again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. It's always a pleasure.
That was Faith Bugenhagen. I've linked all the stories we discussed in our show notes. Before we go, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button so you can get more news and food recommendations about H-Town in your feed. We'd love for you to stick around. And then share this episode on your favorite social media app like Instagram or LinkedIn. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, Hey Houston, for even more daily news in your inbox. Thanks. That will do it for today. I'm Rahil Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new. Damn, that was a good take. I like that one. But I'll give you another one. Don't use this as a blooper.